Greetings, strangers. I'm Britt.
And I'm Dee.
And welcome back to another episode of
It's a Strange World After All.
The podcast where we discuss true crime cases, the supernatural, urban legends, conspiracy theories, and all of the things that keep the world strange.
In today's episode, we discuss the 1973 murder of 12-year-old Santos Rodriguez, who was killed by a police officer during an illegal interrogation. This one is gonna be, we should do a trigger warning, right?
A trigger warning for, because I thought about that, but I was like, I don't even know what to call it. Just
violence, I don't know.
For violence, for stupidity, for just the sheer disregard for human life, for minority human life.
Mm-hmm.
It is upsetting. I was going through and I was like, man, what is this? What the heck? I was like, she did say I was gonna be mad too.
Yeah, because I had to keep stopping. When I was doing the research, I was like, what? Even though it's still happening today, it's still like, what? Why?
Yeah, like what would possess you to do this, or the things that you do, and then I don't know. It boils down to like, what's that experiment? Dang it! It's a psychology experiment when they created that jail. Like they created their own prison.
Is it the Stanford? Is it Stanford?
I think so.
Or, that prison experiment.
I did a paper about that. Yes, it is the Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford prison experiment.
And just like the ugliness that can come out of people when you're put in a position of power, like that.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
Yeah, because like, what was the? Yeah, we'll get into it, because I was like, the whole interrogation, why would y'all do that?
Right.
But we'll get into it.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And these is kids. These is, you get old when you start calling people younger babies. These is babies though. Like,
I mean, yeah.
What the world?
Yep.
But we will get into it. I just have to say, this is America. This is my home. Texas. This is America.
I thought you were about to say this is Texas, but America.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay. Santos Rodriguez was born on November 7th, 1960 in Dallas, Texas, and was the child of Bessie Garcia and David Rodriguez. Santos, age 12, and his older brother David, age 13, were living with an adoptive grandfather, 84-year-old Carlos Menez, in the Little Mexico neighborhood of Dallas. This neighborhood is now known as Uptown. So they just letting you know it was gentrified.
Yeah, basically. That's crazy because I cannot find it anywhere, but there was like a documentary on Oak Cliff and how, trying to think of the term, because it's still gentrification, but it used to be a white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I forgot what happened in Oak Cliff. It was like not a massacre. It was something big that happened in Oak Cliff back in the day. But I was like, it's crazy because now I don't even think I ain't even been to Oak Cliff in I don't know how long. You don't see many white people though in Oak Cliff unless you go towards like the Bishop Arts District.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, I had never known that Uptown was gentrified.
No, because this feels like it's been like that for a while.
Yeah,
but
our old stomping ground. Not stomping grounds,
grounds. No, it definitely used to be my old stomping grounds. Stomping grounds, romping grounds, bopping grounds, everything, all of it, but out there.
At the time, their mother, Bessie, was serving a 5-year sentence in Huntsville State Prison. She had been convicted for the April 1971 murder of her then boyfriend, 62-year-old Leonard Brown. After her conviction, Santos and David were sent to live with Carlos Menez at her request, and her 3 youngest children were placed in foster homes. So I don't know why it was just them two that was sent to live with him. Um, and her other kids, it could have been his age,
That's what I
and
was gonna
maybe that would have
ask.
been too much. But yeah, I don't know why it was just them two that was sent to live with him, because he raised her basically. So he's not like a stranger to them. So I don't know anything about the system, but I figured they would have put all of the kids in the system instead of just, letting the 2 brothers stay with Carlos.
Yeah.
I don't know like the specifics of her killing the guy. I don't know if it was like self-defense or whatever, but I couldn't find anything on that,
Hmm.
because I mean, obviously she didn't get like life or anything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Santos and David had previous run ins with the law over truancy and shoplifting. Santos's teachers at William B. Travis Elementary School described him as naive and easily influenced, deep thinking, gentle, and a fan of classical music. Supervisors at the Pike Park Community Center, where Santos played, described him as someone who was willing to volunteer to help clean the park and community center. I mean, he sounds like a good kid. Sounds like he was a little trouble in the beginning, but he wasn't a bad
Yeah.
kid.
And like, not me, but like, I think a lot of kids skip school. And I'm going to say a lot of kids shoplift as well.
Oh, I definitely was stealing keychains from Spencer's. That was peer pressure, though. I was trying to fit in with the cool crowd. But I felt terrible. I was like, oh my God, I'll never do this again.
That's funny. But yeah, so I wouldn't say that they were like bad.
No, they were just
Yeah. Regular
a little
kids.
troubled. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like a little. I mean, it's traumatic. Your mom is in prison. That's traumatic. So
Yeah.
if that's the most they did by way of acting out, then yeah, like you said, they're not bad kids.
Yeah. On July 24th, 1973 at 2:30 a.m., police records noted a burglary call at a FINA.
Yeah,
That how you say? Okay.
that's how you know you don't drive. She said a what? A Fina? What is that?
I mean, I know it's a gas. I was saying how to pronounce
No,
it.
I'm messing with you. I would have just called it the Kona stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Because I was trying to remember, were there any of those gas stations like when we were? I've never heard of that
I
gas
think I
station.
did that too, but I think it was, isn't it? Not Exxon. Didn't Fina use?
Oh, maybe.
It's one of Mesquite somewhere.
Really?
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I knew. Yeah, say Mesquite, Texas 75149.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's still. I don't know, but yeah.
Okay. At a FINA gas station located at 2301 Cedar Springs in Dallas, someone had stolen $8 from a vending machine. The responding officers were Officer Darrell L. Kane and Officer Roy R. Arnold. Darrell Kane was a 5-year veteran of the Dallas Police Department, and Roy Arnold was a 3-year veteran. So they should know what they're doing.
I mean, you don't even have to know what you're doing just to have human decency, but I get what you're saying. Like, because this just boils down to like a moral compass, human decency.
Yeah.
I just say, I know you fucking lying. They called the police. The police were called for $8.
So I don't think anybody called. I think it was just the alarm and they were just responding. But still,
Oh,
once they got there and figured out what was going on, they should have been like, oh, $8. Even though, no, $8 is nothing.
I was gonna say stealing out of a vending machine is nothing. Like I understand that like they usually are like privately owned or what have you, but I'm pretty sure you have to have insurance to own a vending machine. So who cares
Yeah,
that somebody stole $8
true.
out the vending machine? So there are conflicting reports on how and when the officers arrived at the scene of the burglary. An article from the Dallas Times Herald stated that they reported to the gas station after receiving information from police dispatch about a robbery in progress. The article also stated that the suspects had fled by the time the police arrived. I would have just cut my losses. I would have just been like,
Yeah,
oh well.
but that's only one account. So,
Oh, okay.
in contrast to that, Roy Arnold was dismissed from the police force in 1973 for failing to report firing a warning shot at a suspect fleeing the gas station. This indicates that the officers arrived and witnessed the suspects as they fled, or that Roy fired upon a civilian. According to the Dallas Morning News, Roy Arnold reported that he thought the suspects were Santos and his brother David. So this is just saying that we don't know if the officers actually saw them at the scene. And if they didn't see them, how do they know that it was them? Is what I'm thinking. Yeah. So one report says that by the time they got there, the boys were gone. The other report is that they were there, which is what I'm thinking. I think he saw them leaving, but I don't know how he would know that it was them. Because why would he be like basically fired? Because it says he was dismissed for firing at them. So I feel like that's what happened, but I don't know if he actually saw their faces. Because the way this sounds is they got there, the boys were running, and he fired at them. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying? Did
okay.
that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because if they're running away, how did he see their faces?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was a lot, but I don't know if that made sense.
It was a lot, but I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Especially because you're saying that no one actually called it in. It was
That's what I'm thinking.
just
I'm thinking it was like an alarm, and because it says they were alerted by dispatch. So I'm guessing they were responding to the alarm and they sent them there. Dispatch sent Roy and Daryl.
right.
Yeah.
How would they know where they lived though? They just followed them. Is what?
That's what nobody knows. I'm thinking because that Santos has been in trouble before, maybe I don't know. Because Roy
Um.
was like, no, it's Santos and David.
Okay. So it's unclear. Okay.
Yeah. That's what makes this like so frustrating because how do y'all know for sure that it was them? I think that's the whole point. Like y'all don't know if it was them or not
That's true.
because nobody knows what actually happened.
And it don't matter. It don't matter if it was them. It was $8 damn. It was $8, which I realized in 1973. What was $8? Probably double it, 16. I don't know. Who knows? It wasn't enough. It was not enough for
Yeah,
what is about to occur.
true.
Officers Daryl and Roy, so them same two Buster officers, went to the brothers' home and took them into custody at around 2:30 a.m. They didn't have a warrant, but claimed they had gotten permission from their guardian, Carlos Menez. Carlos didn't speak much English, and neither of the officers spoke Spanish. So there could have been a misunderstanding. There was a misunderstanding. Not could have. There probably was a
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
Now I had to write it that way because nobody knows.
No, I know. I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm me. This is my opinion. Allegedly, apparently, there was a
Yeah.
misunderstanding because the only thing he would have understood was their names and like why would you I don't know. I should say why would you let them in, but then I don't know, cops standing at your door, they say the boys' names and I don't know. Maybe he would think, okay, well I don't have a choice but to let them in. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2:30 in the morning. The police are at your door. You probably delirious because you probably got woke up out your sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, on top of that, he really didn't speak English, so he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was old. Like, not that,
Oh.
yeah.
No, but
So he probably didn't know what was happening.
yeah.
Santos and David were handcuffed and put into Roy's police car without being given time to put on shoes or change their clothes. They were taken to a vacant lot behind the gas station for an interrogation. Roy Arnold was in the driver's seat, Daryl Kane was in the seat behind Roy, Santos was in the passenger seat, and David was behind Santos. And that's just so you know where everybody is, because, yeah, I feel like that's important.
Oh, no, it is important.
Roy questioned them about the robbery, but neither of them would confess because they didn't do it.
Well, yeah. I just had so many questions. So I was like, okay, for one, why are y'all sitting like that? Like, y'all could have easily just sat in the front and put them in the back seat. Because typically, you are not even supposed to ride up front. Like, I've had an accident before, and a police officer took me home, and he literally was like, I'm sorry to do this, but you're going to have, like, you have to sit in the back. Legally, you're not supposed to sit up, like, in the front unless you're doing something for school. You know, like how sometimes they have, like, those programs, and they let you, like, sit in the car. So that's number one. Number two, why were you even at a vacant lot? Like, why? It's not legal. It's not, is this legal?
Exactly.
It's not legal. It's illegal.
Why wouldn't y'all just take them to the police station?
And they're minors.
True.
Correct?
Yeah. 12,
Okay.
13. Yeah.
So I thought that even for like their guardian to give them permission, that they had to have something signed in order to give them permission. And I thought that you had to have interrogations. Mind you, I realized this is 73, but that you either had to have a tape recording of an interrogation or a video recording of an interrogation.
And I don't even think the guardian has to sign anything. I think the guardian has to be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Something felt wrong.
Yeah. So why are they not at the police station? And why is their guardian, Carlos, not with them? Because I'm pretty sure they had somebody at the police station who could speak Spanish and translate.
Yes.
The boys could have translated.
Yes.
Something. Yeah. This whole situation is illegal.
It's a sketch. It's smelly. Yeah. It's sus. It's illegal. And I too, even though I don't give a fuck about these police officers, but if I was one of them, I would be like, no, yeah, let's take them to the station, because I'm not trying to get sued. Like, I'm not trying to have them come back and say like, oh, something happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, it is. And it's 2:30 in the morning. Y'all doing all this over $8.
$8.
And it's crazy because like we don't know if they saw them at the gas station or not. But still, why? Why are y'all doing this way?
It's $8. They could have easily have been like, they could have easily had either given the $8 or been like, y'all got $8. Like, I don't know. It's just $8. Like, well, okay. And
then too, it's not like they going anywhere. Why y'all couldn't wait till the next? I mean, it is technically the next day, but why y'all couldn't wait?
To a respectable hour, you could have. Yeah. Just doing whatever because they feel like they could, because there's been a culture now established that they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
Okay, so this is when they are doing their parking lot interrogation, and this is when Officer Daryl Kane pulled out his .367 Magnum revolver and removed the bullets. He claimed that he checked the cylinder and didn't see any bullets left in the gun. Daryl aimed the gun at Santos, warning him to tell the truth about the robbery. Santos denied any involvement, and Daryl pulled the trigger, clicking an empty chamber. Daryl threatened to shoot Santos if he didn't confess. Santos replied, "I'm telling the truth," and Daryl pulled the trigger again. This time, the gun fired. The bullet hit Santos below his left ear, penetrating his brain, killing him instantly. Do you not think if I have a gun drawn on a child, if he actually did this, that he would have confessed? I would think that even if he didn't do this, that he, by this point, he would have said anything that I wanted him to say.
Yeah.
So
even now, even at my age, if I see that, I'm still, I'm telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah, like, sure, I did.
Yeah, so he's telling the truth. This is a child. He sees a
Yes.
gun. You would think he would tell you the truth, which he did.
And then why? Like, if you're trying to scare them, why are you trying to scare them like that? I think it's enough that you showed up at their house at 2:30 in the morning, put them in handcuffs, and put them in your car. When I first saw this, I was like, I don't understand the thought process of Daryl Kane. Like, why? What made you think, oh, I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm gonna do
Yeah.
to try to get a confession. What?
It's not that serious.
It's not.
Yeah, what would make you think that that was okay? Even
I
if
don't know.
you took the bullets out like you claim you did, that's still not okay.
Why would you do that? Yeah, why
Which
would you do
that's
that?
gonna come up.
Yeah.
Why are y'all like I don't know. That's just frustrating because it's stupid. Like you
It
are a
is
grown man, you are
stupid.
a cop. You should be smarter than that. Oh my god, that's just
Yes.
sad. So officers Daryl and Roy exited the car quickly, leaving David, who was still handcuffed, alone with Santos's body. David was left in the police car with his brother for around 10 minutes, which must have felt like forever.
I mean, how traumatic.
Yeah.
How traumatic. You just witnessed him
Yeah.
being shot, then they just leave you. You don't know if you're going to get shot. Like, what?
Yeah. Dallas police officer Jerry Foster was also at the scene at the time of Santos's murder. He was on patrol when he responded to a call about the burglary. So now we have another police officer.
Oh, Jerry Foster.
Yeah. So yeah, now I'm thinking it was an alarm because dispatch, they just put a call out on the radio, and like the way that works is whoever is closest, they go and see what's going on.
Right.
So yeah, so he was in the area too.
Okay. Why did he respond, though? Because I thought usually people, like, they say, okay, we got to whatever. And then some people respond and say, oh, we got it. So I wonder
Maybe they
why
didn't.
they was just out here reckless, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
allegedly. I mean, allegedly they didn't, you know. I mean, they
I
were
mean,
out
they
there
was out.
reckless, but
I was
yeah.
about to say
I'm
that's not
saying
alleged.
allegedly they probably didn't say anything. Yeah.
Maybe. Jerry witnessed the arrival of Roy, Daryl, and the brothers. Jerry reported that he yelled out to Roy that there was information that a third suspect was involved in the burglary. Jerry approached Roy's patrol car, and as he laid his arm on the car door, he heard the shot. Jerry saw Santos's head slump over and saw blood coming from his head.
Jerry said he heard Daryl scream before he got out of the vehicle. While exiting the vehicle, Daryl was heard saying, my God, what have I done? I didn't mean to do it." Moments after Daryl got out of the car, Jerry took the gun from him. There were 5 live rounds and 1 empty cartridge in the gun.
That don't make sense. That don't.
It'll
All
That's the
right.
point. That's yeah. None of this makes
Okay.
sense, but
Mhm.
we're going to get into that.
Whose accounts are these?
This is coming from them.
Jerry.
All
Oh,
3 of
okay.
them. Yeah, Jerry,
Cause
Daryl, and Roy. Because they were the only ones that were there. And David. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we're going to get into all that once we get to the trial part.
Officer David Rowe was on patrol that morning and responded to a radio call about a boy being accidentally shot and arrived within minutes. When he got there, he saw both brothers still in the car, with Santos in the front seat, all bloody. This is coming from
David.
David.
Yeah.
An ambulance was called and Santos was pronounced dead on arrival at Parkland Hospital.
Within hours of the shooting, Officer Daryl Kane was suspended from the police force. Dallas Police Chief Frank Dyson filed charges of murder with malice against Daryl the same morning of the shooting. Daryl was released after his attorney posted his bail. On July 26th, 2 days after the murder, the investigation of the gas station burglary proved that neither of the brothers' fingerprints matched any at the scene of the crime. So they didn't even do it. They probably wasn't even there.
I'm not saying that they weren't there. They could have very well been there. In my mind, though, it's a vending machine. They could have been up there trying to get a Coke
I
and
think
got
it was a
caught up.
cigarette vending machine. So they would have been trying to get cigarettes.
I was gonna say people used to send kids to the store and shit to buy cigarettes. They could have been trying to get cigarettes for what's his name?
Carlos.
Carlos. Yeah.
My theory, I guess it would be a theory. I don't think they were there because how would they have time to get home and then go to sleep? Cause like it was 2:30, it was like 2:30ish. So,
Was when the
cause they
call
said that
came
they
in.
wasn't even when they picked them up.
But when did the
Oh,
dispatch the
I don't know. I don't think I found that. But if you go by,
it say
huh?
They say police records noted a burglary at 2:30. A burglary call, so around the same time,
Yeah,
I would assume.
2:30ish. So yeah, how and then if Roy saw them, how would they have time to run home? Cuz it was like they wouldn't even let them get dressed or anything. Like they wasn't I mean, I'm not finna steal with no shoes on. That didn't come out right. But you know what I mean? How would they
I
have
mean,
time to run home, do all this, get in the change, get in the bed if they were there?
how do yeah, I don't know. That's still the biggest question cuz why them though? Did they know them?
That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, they may have known them because they were saying that Santos wasn't a stranger. It didn't say that he wasn't a stranger, but he was known to get in trouble. So I'm guessing they may have known him already.
And just assumed it was him.
Yeah. But Roy
Okay.
said that he saw them, but it's different accounts of one account is saying that they weren't there when the police showed up, and another one is saying that Roy saw them as they were fleeing.
Yeah. District Attorney Henry Wade announced that murder charges against Officer Daryl Kane would be taken to the Dallas County Grand Jury once the Dallas police completed their investigation. On July 27th, a warrant was issued for Daryl's arrest. He turned himself in that same evening around 7:30 p.m.
So, this isn't the first time Daryl has been involved in controversy. A few years prior, in 1970, he shot and killed Michael Moorhead, an unarmed 18-year-old black man who was allegedly fleeing the scene of a burglary. Daryl, along with another officer, Jeffrey Kirksey, fired 13 shots, with 3 of them hitting Michael. By this point, how was he still a police officer?
I don't know. They probably found some way to get him out of it.
That's sad.
You know how they do to protect each other.
Yeah.
13, goddamn, I just realized that. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
sad.
that's what I'm saying.
It is sad. It's not even necessary.
Exactly.
Michael Moorhead's grandmother produced recorded statements from witnesses saying Michael was shot while he was on the ground and that he begged the officers not to shoot him. However, these witnesses later changed their statements after being questioned by the FBI. After an investigation, it was revealed that the officers had shot into the grassy field where Michael lay. No charges were ever brought against the officers. Later that same year, Daryl shot and wounded a man in a Dallas park.
What is wrong with this man?
I don't know. He don't need to be an officer though.
Yeah. And then if y'all were just firing into the field, how he get shot? If y'all wasn't shooting at him.
13 times
Y'all
though.
fired. He only got hit. They fired 13 shots, but it said, yeah, he only got hit by 3. So y'all just shooting for no reason, not for no reason, but like, what were y'all doing?
Right.
Why are y'all
I don't
shooting
know.
13 shots? And then I feel like the witnesses were intimidated. So that could be why nothing happened.
Yeah, because they were probably just a part of the community and they probably do what they always do is, like an intimidation tactic. Lying and saying they got something on them, or maybe they do have something on them and it's small, but try to turn it into something. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I put that in there to show what kind of officer he is or
Trash.
was. Yeah. So now back to Santos.
Yeah.
On October 11th, 1973, a hearing was held in the Criminal Court Number 5 for a change of venue for Officer Darrell Kane's trial. D.A. Mulder and Darrell's attorney, Phil Burleson, asked for the trial to be moved outside of Dallas out of concerns that it would be difficult to have a fair trial due to the publicity of the shooting. I mean, but y'all still in Texas though. What difference will it make?
Right. I would have assumed that. Well, I don't know. I don't know how media worked in the 70s. Nowadays, everybody
Oh,
would have heard
true.
about it. So,
Yeah. But I mean, it has some publicity because I mean I've
yeah.
seen footage of like the protests and stuff. So
Mm.
yeah. I mean it was crazy. Like I mean, not crazy. I mean it's pretty much like how it is now,
Hmm.
but it's just weird seeing that footage. And I saw Santos's body. I mean, and I think no, let me not say this because I don't know. Because when I saw the picture, it looked like they put it in the newspaper, but it could have just been a black and white picture. So let me
Oh,
not
that
say
wouldn't
that.
surprise me though for the 70s because it's not like,
Yeah.
it was all about like headlines and what was like attention getting.
Yeah,
So if
that's
they did
true.
it, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then when I saw it, because I saw it by accident and I was trying to hurry up and scroll. Yeah. So yeah, I did see that. Judge Gossett moved the trial to the 147th District Court of Austin, and the hearing was set for November 12th, 1973. The jury was composed of 7 men and 5 women and didn't have any jurors who were Mexican American or African American.
Who did the selection process? Because you're supposed to partner up and do the selections for
Oh,
the jury. The defense and the prosecution are supposed to have a say, like a literally like an equal say in who they select for the jury.
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, who the hell was supposed to be? Uh, yeah, I guess the prosecution because the defense would be defending Daryl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, who on the prosecution was like, "Oh, we're not gonna get no persons of color," huh? That doesn't make any sense. Also, I absolutely hate when they do this because they do not do the same for people of color. I have never heard of them moving a case for a person of color because they were worried about like the backlash or biases or anything like that. They did the same thing in the Rodney King trial. They moved it from like LA to what, like Beverly Hills or something like that. It was like no, it was like a
Yeah.
different suburb. Yeah. And let's talk about how far Austin is from Dallas in the first place. Like why that don't even make sense for you to have had it in Austin. That's not even how. Who approved? Like, why? Well, we know who approved it, but like, why?
Yeah, I was just assuming that they did it on purpose because he was Mexican or Hispanic and this was the 70s. I figured they really didn't.
Oh, yeah. It was
And it
probably
was a
politics.
cop, so
Yeah.
yeah.
It was probably politics. They probably already knew from the time that it happened, from the time that it hit headlines, from the time that they took him in, they already knew that they were going to move the case and they already knew
Yeah.
what their jury was going to look like. During the trial, the prosecution brought 5 witnesses to the stand, with one of those witnesses being Santos's older brother, David Rodriguez. David testified that he saw Daryl pull out his gun, hold it in his lap, open and twirl the cylinder before closing it, and point the gun at Santos. When he pulled the trigger the first time, it made a clicking sound.
I know we mentioned it earlier because you were saying, we had the whole discussion about the gun and I was saying it was going to come up later. So this is it. But we're just going over it again because it's David's testimony. And so what we were talking about before was Daryl's recollection of what happened. And
Daryl was saying, "Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry."
yeah, what we were saying earlier is Daryl's account. This way we can compare both of their statements to see if, there are any similarities, what's different. But this is David, what we talked about earlier, Daryl, I guess when he was being interviewed.
So Daryl's account was an account that he took out, that he cleared the clip, the chamber,
Yes.
whatever. Okay. But David is saying he just opened it and twirled it and pointed the gun. That he never actually took any bullets out.
Yeah.
Okay. Or that he didn't see him.
Yeah, he didn't see him take the bullets out. Because he was sitting right next to him. That's why I put where they were sitting, so they were both in the back seat.
David and Daryl.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Santos is in the front passenger seat.
And Roy was in the driver's seat.
Gotcha. David says Daryl told Santos the gun had a bullet in it this time, and that Santos better tell the truth. Santos again said he was innocent, and the second time Daryl pulled the trigger, Santos was shot. On cross-examination, David was asked if Daryl had emptied the bullets from the gun, and David said he didn't. He said, like, without doubt that he didn't. It was not even like a question. It was like, no, he didn't.
Yeah. Daryl, he has an explanation for that. Because you remember that other cop said when he took the gun, the bullets were still in the gun.
Yeah. All but the one that he fired.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Which still doesn't make sense to me, because if it was full, how did the first shot, how did it just click? How was that one a blank?
Ooh, I don't know.
So maybe I'm thinking maybe he took a bullet or two out and left the rest in there. But he has an explanation.
Daryl does.
Yeah.
Okay.
On November 14th, Officer Daryl Kane gave his testimony. He claimed he and Officer Roy Arnold found the brothers in their beds and they looked sweaty. So, like they were running, basically. Roy told Daryl that they were the ones he saw running from the gas station. And remember, we don't know if he actually saw them or not because of the conflicting reports.
Right.
Yeah. Keep that in mind. The only real difference between his account of what happened in the car and David's is that he said he took the bullets out of the gun. Daryl says that after the shooting, he grabbed the bullets from his lap, jumped from the car, and then put the bullets back in the gun. This could explain, if he is telling the truth, this would explain why the other officer said the bullets were still in the gun. He said he was in shock and hysterical and that he cried over what happened.
If you are in shock and hysterical, why is it your first inclination? Like, why would you think, oh, let me put these bullets back in this gun? That don't make sense. You got to do it one by one. That don't make sense. It's a revolver. You don't even like load the clip. You have to put them in one by one. That don't make no sense.
Yeah. Because if you're truly in shock and all that, my guess is you would be shaken and you wouldn't, because it happened so fast, because the other officer was there when he fired the shot. So the other officer would have saw him putting the putting the bullets back in the gun.
Yeah.
But the other officer said he grabbed the gun and the bullets were in there. So
the Jerry, the one that was not even affiliated with, he just walked up and was like, hey.
Jerry.
But if you took the bullets out of the gun, he's not saying he took them all out. He's standing behind the fact that he left one in. Daryl is.
No, Daryl says he took them all out.
That does not make any sense. How was there still a bullet?
So if you look at like the headlines, it's like officer plays Russian roulette, and so I'm thinking he was doing Russian roulette,
which means that then there was still one.
He left a bullet in there, but to cover it up, he probably just said, allegedly, just said he took them all out.
That don't make no sense. It just don't even, the math ain't mathing, because it don't even make sense. What he's saying just is not logical. It don't make sense. If you were so shook and you were so hysterical, which he might have been shook. He might have been hysterical because you had no business doing that in the first place. Because you were probably just trying to scare them in the first place. I will say at this stage that I don't think that he intended to kill him, but you shouldn't have been messing around in the first place.
Yeah, you should have been at the police station, not in a vacant parking lot.
That don't make no sense. During cross-examination, he was asked if it was normal procedure to interrogate a young boy using a gun. He said that it wasn't. When Daryl was asked about reloading his gun, he said that in all of the confusion, no one saw him do it. The third officer, Jerry Foster, said that he never saw him reload the gun like at all. So he's not corroborating his.
Yeah. But Daryl's like, oh, it was so much confusion and all this. It was so much chaos. Nobody saw me. Like, sir, y'all are all standing there together.
And if you have ever loaded a gun, a clip, that's not something that, like, even if you're an officer, like, you could do it, I guess, if you're trained to do it, like, fairly quickly, but it would still take a little bit of time to where they would have seen you do it. And again, going back to the I'm in shock, I would assume that you'd be, like, a little shaky.
Yeah. And then, because he can't say that he loaded it in the car because they both said they got out of the car immediately. So it's not like he did it, sat in the car, reloaded the gun, and got out. He got out and claims he reloaded the gun. So one of those officers would have seen it, because the way they're describing it, they were all like standing together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like one person was on one side of the car and the other person. They were standing together. And then you could, even if you didn't see him, I feel like you would hear him putting the gullet. Why do I keep saying gullets?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Gullets. The gun bullets. Gullets. You feel like what?
I just feel like, I don't know anything about guns, so I don't know. But I feel like it would be loud enough to where they would hear him putting the bullets back in there.
I don't know, but you can definitely hear the clicking of like, and then why would you 3 times? I said it 3 times, and then why would you go through the trouble of doing that, where you like, oh shit, I don't want them to know that I was about to play Russian roulette. But I would think that I would have a better chance of being like, okay, hold on. Well, no, because he lying. He just lying. Because I was about to say, I would think that I would. He's just lying. I would think that I would have a fighting chance if I was like, look, I'm sorry. I was just trying to scare him. So I did take the bullets out. But he can't say that because the bullets was. He just lying. He just lying.
So my thing is, if you're just trying to scare them, they're kids. Because I remember, I don't know what they did because they used to be in a whole bunch of stuff, but my brothers, I want to say it was like a fight or something, and the police showed up, and they were like, the police, they weren't about to like arrest them, but our mom told them to put them in the car, and that scared the mess out of them. So like, yeah. And they were, kids. Yeah.
Everything feels so much more bigger.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah. Just put them in the car.
I don't know. But we've already said adultification. They probably didn't acknowledge the fact that they were children. So
yeah.
I don't know. It just don't make no sense. It just don't make any sense. None of this makes any sense.
None of it. And then like, I just don't understand, how was he still a cop? You had 2 incidents before this.
You should have been lost your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stupid. After 5.5 hours of deliberation, the jury found Officer Daryl Kane guilty of negligent homicide. On November 16th, during the punishment phase of the trial, Daryl was sentenced to 5 years in prison for murder with malice. So they were, I didn't put this in there, but they were like going back and forth with what to charge him with. Like, is it murder with malice or is it not? But then I guess to determine the sentence, but 5 years?
It's not enough.
Yeah. And Daryl was released on September 11th, 1979, after serving 2.5 years of his sentence. So he didn't even do the whole 5 years.
Girl.
Daryl later worked as an insurance claim adjuster and got married in 1980. In 2019, at the age of 75, Daryl passed away, and his obituary didn't mention his career as a police officer.
I bet it didn't. On September 13th, 2013, Mayor Mike Rawlings issued an apology for the death of Santos Rodriguez on behalf of the Dallas City Council and the Dallas Police Department. On October 18th, 2018, it's really weird. September 13th, 2013, October 18th, 2018.
Oh.
Yeah. On October 18th, 2018, the Dallas Park Board renamed the Pike Park Recreation Center to the Santos Rodriguez Center, and in 2022, a sculpture dedicated to the life and memory of Santos Rodriguez was installed at Pike Park. Santos's mother was in attendance at the unveiling ceremony. Final thoughts, theories, whatever.
I don't know. This is another one where I think we pretty much summed up how we feel throughout the whole episode. But
yeah,
I'm just stuck on the fact that he had 2 other incidents before that and he was still a cop. He should have been fired. He should have been in prison because you killed somebody. The whole thing with Michael, it was frustrating because I really couldn't find much, because I was going to say, did they take that to trial? Did they do anything with that? But I guess not, because of the witnesses taking back their statements. Even after that, you had another incident.
That's true.
You're
he
not
should have
fit
at the
to be a
very
cop.
least. That's what I was going to say. So I don't know about in jail. Well, for this, obviously, he should have been in jail longer. But before that, he definitely should have at least not have had his job. And like you say, it could have all been avoided. It would have never happened because he would have been off the force.
Yep. And I don't know, because, the whole thing with this is, did he mean to do it? Did he not? To me, that doesn't matter because you did it.
It don't even matter because he did it. He was doing something.
Yeah, you were doing exactly. Like, if you would have just taken him to the police station, why couldn't you do that? Why was their guardian not there? Why? It's just too much. Too much.
Yeah, there was so much mishandling.
And then why did it take so long for this to even be acknowledged? Y'all doing all this stuff now, 2022, 2018. Where was all this back then?
Right.
Like, because it was a lot that I really didn't get into, because it would have been like way longer. But there was, like I said, there were a lot of protests. There were a lot of, it was something about the funeral. I think Roy went to the funeral, the other officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Daryl was trying to go, but they were like, nah. Like, yeah, it was a whole thing about them going to the funeral and stuff like that. But I was like, man, this is ridiculous.
They probably only wanted to do that, though, because they probably told them they should do that. They probably were like, you should probably go to the funeral to make it look better.
Yep. I mean, you can find a lot of the footage like on YouTube, because I saw protests. There's like is it 30 minutes or an hour? There's a video. I think it's just a compilation of like all the news clips, protests, and stuff like that. But a lot of information you can find on YouTube. And even though he didn't do it, but I wonder, like, because I know they let him go from the police department, but Roy, I wonder what he did after that.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. And then I couldn't find any information, because I wanted to do like kind of like an update kind of, but I couldn't find anything with David or the mom. I just saw the video of them at the park when they unveiled the statue, but that was about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Sad. It's sad, unnecessary. And yeah, just again shows like the complete disregard for Black and brown lives. Like, I truly just do not see this happening with someone not of color. Like, I just don't see it. So
me neither.
And that's sad. Well, that is all, folks.
Please follow us on Instagram at It's a Strange World Podcast, Twitter at Pod Strange World, and on Facebook and TikTok at It's a Strange World After All. Also, if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and like the show, please go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're feeling extra strange, please write a review. Please and thank you.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. What did you think of this week's episode? Also, if there's anything else in the world of strange or true crime cases that you would like us to cover, let us know. If you have any personal stories involving true crime or the supernatural, we would love to have you on the show and share them with our listeners. We are doing movie reviews of the horror, thriller, slasher, and true crime genre. So if you have any movies or documentaries and want to hear our uncensored, unsolicited opinions on them, you can email those submissions to itsastrangeworldafterall@gmail.com or DM us at any other social media platforms D mentioned. Even if you just want to say hey there, we will be here.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of
It's a Strange World After All. And thank you, as always, for keeping it strange with us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. We love y'all. Bye.